is WCHB AM 1340 in Detroit.
Detroit, you need to be made aware. Welcome to Practicing Self-Awareness with hosts Robert Chacon and Jose Villegas.
All right, Detroit, how's everybody doing? Rob the Observer here with you. And I have the other Observer online, and we got a hot show for you today. What's going on, Zerby?
What's up, Zerb? Greatest show on earth. Greatest show.
There you go. There you go. Greatest show on earth. And, we was talking, just real quick before we get into today, we was talking about that Kirk Franklin thing. And, I was telling you I had an experience with my 8-year-old daughter, and I was showing her on the internet. I said, see, this is why you have to pay attention to yourself, sweetie, because I said, watch all of these videos I show you. It's all these people mad because of what other people are doing. And I said, it's important that you begin to pay attention to yourself, because that serves you better. When you're paying attention to yourself, then you're able to evolve and be a better person. And that's what this subject matter is about. The subject matter is about practicing self-awareness, and we're so glad you joined us today. What's going on, Zerb?
Zerb, I'm just Zerbing. That's all. Being aware, noticing the stuff that's going on inside of me.
Yeah. And if you think about it, in context with the Kirk Franklin thing, you realize that everybody that comments on it is angry. Now you tell me, how does being angry serve you? If I'm mad, can I attract something good to myself that day?
No, you're gonna attract some more anger, some more stuff to keep you angry. That's all, right? And also, too, it's easy to always see what everybody else doing. You're not gonna be able to change till you see what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and that's the
Okay.
thing, man. All these shows we got, all these shows, you hear everybody talking about what everybody else doing. Talk about yourself sometime.
Right.
Maybe, but go ahead, kick it.
Well, that's what Jay was just saying right before we came on. He said, you have all these people commenting like they probably have never been in that kind of situation. And see, that's what happens when we get on our soapbox and we start preaching about what everybody else should be doing. We forget the most important person, and it's always what I should be doing. And so we'll have people call in, and if they want to comment, I'm sure. But remember, what's the one scripture that says, let the first one without saying cast the first stone? So just remember, before you call in, load it up, ready to go off. Practice some self-awareness.
But that's what this show is, because we know how hard it is to change. When you really work on change, you give people a pass because you know how hard it is to change.
Right. So let's get into the subject matter today, man. We have we're gonna have some callers call in, but also I got a letter from somebody over the weekend. It's like kind of a 3-part letter, and they had some concerns and they wanted us to help them address. So let's go for it.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, let's get right into it. It says, a friend told me that there are steps in your book to help overcome anything, saying it again, anything. So that's the first part. They know I wrote a book called Practicing Self-Awareness, and they heard it's steps in my books to help them get over anything they're going through. Then she goes on to say, I wish I knew the words to express how angry I've become. I didn't know how much pain I was carrying until I took a look at how angry and bitter I have become. I'm a 56-year-old single woman with a history of very bad relationships. I have read books that were supposed to help me through the pain and rejection, but they all say I should get through it, and they say why I should get through it, but they never tell me how. Now, it's a 3-part question, but let's tackle this first part right here.
Go ahead.
So, or did you want to tackle the first part? You want me to read the whole thing and we break it down? Because it's a couple of more parts to it.
We're going to read the whole thing.
Okay, it says, where in your book do I find out what I need to do and how to do it to stop attracting this negativity to myself? Then it also says, I would also like to hear from other like-minded women or men who are dealing with similar problems in relationships. Is it possible that it can be discussed when you all have a podcast, or if you all decide to have a group of ladies and gentlemen formed to talk to each other about experiences, failures, and progress with self-awareness? So it's a pretty detailed letter. So I say let's tackle the first part. So the first part is, we talk about this all the time, is first of all, self-awareness is a solution for anything we're going through in our life. But it said, I have people always tell me, say I should get through it and why I should get through it, but they never tell me how. So let's talk about that first, Zerb.
Yeah, also, too, self-awareness is not the answer. Self-awareness allows you to see the answer and see the problem. So that's why you're practicing self-awareness. You're not practicing self-awareness because self-awareness is the answer. So what I used to say a long time ago, Zerb, I said self-awareness is the only answer that's not an answer, right?
Okay.
It allows you to see the problem, because I got folks in my family who didn't have bad relationships who would have become bitter and angry and resentful, right?
Right.
And one of the things I find too is that the person in my family they're connected to these social media groups of other women who are angry and bitter, so they really can't see themselves because everybody feels the same way, And I mentioned to them, I said, well, first thing you need to do is cut back off of feeding yourself that anger and bitterness, right?
Right.
Because it ain't going nowhere. But you got to go in your experiences and practice slowing your reaction down when you're angry, when you're bitter, when you hurt. You know what I mean? But go ahead, you kick it.
Yeah. So let me give people this. The first thing is when we talk about how do I get through the bitter and angerness, the bitter and being angry with a bunch of failed relationships. The first thing is we have to pay attention to ourselves. The first thing people tend to do is they'll group a whole group of people like, well, let's just be honest. Well, I had some bad relationships with some black men, or all black men ain't nothing. Or if I had some relationships with black women, all black women are like this. And that's the first problem, is we group everybody as opposed to the experience we have. We group a whole bunch of people. That's devoid of any type of self-awareness, because no whole group of people is the same. It's differences in all groups. So we got to get out of that mentality right there. I hear that a lot on social media, that we just lump groups of people in as one whole thing. The second thing is, once we get the focus off of everybody else, we need to put the attention on us. Because if I'm sitting up saying, all women are this and every woman's did that, now I'm removing accountability. Instead of saying all people are like this, why am I saying, why am I attracting this to myself? What is it about me? Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. What is it?
You heard me. Go ahead.
Yeah. What is it about me that keeps attracting this particular kind of person? Because that's something about me. See now what we're doing is, if you watch, I'm slowly corralling the power back to me, because all of these other scenarios render me powerless. What I'm saying, when you practice self-awareness, you become powerful, because now everything is streaming from you, the individual, and not anything outside of you. So that's the first part. Then she says it talks about Well, how do I begin to do that? And what I would say is anytime I'm sitting up angry and negative about what is going on in the past, well, we first know all we got is right now anyway. You know, if you can't live in the future or live in the past, you have right now. You're listening to this broadcast right now, and you have a chance to make today better. What I would say is I would focus on awareness, because now I'm trying to elevate and draw a higher experience of myself. Well, what do I mean? This self that's always bitter and always angry, that's not the real you. That's not the real you. It's a greater you inside, but I've come to focus on this false narrative that I believe is me. What that does is that allows a space. You know, we talk about it all the time, sir. We say we're creating a space where we're allowing God, higher power, higher intuition. We're creating a space where we're allowing that to come in and start being the guide. Because guess what? I was jumping in and out of all of these different relationships and situations because I was trying to have that part fulfilled. Now we're going to work for having that part of ourself fulfilled, but in a real way. And the genesis of that is being aware of this us we always thought we were, and creating a space where we allow the real self to emerge, and it has to be revealed to you. It's for lack of better words, it's almost like a magic, but I trust it. Every time I say, every time I'm negative about anything, I say, you know what? I know this is not me, but I know I don't know how to be more than this. So let me just pay attention to it as opposed to attach to it. Now watch, what's the magic? One of the magic parts of it is I can't be something and be aware of it at the same time, right? So if I'm having this reaction of, oh, I'm angry and I'm bitter, imagine if I just sat there and watched myself being this. Well, if I'm watching myself being this, who's watching this, Eric?
Now you're trying to get slick with it, ain't you? Exactly.
Who's watching it?
But you're hitting it on the head, the real you. So you can't watch an emotion and be the emotion too. So that's the key right there. You hit it on the head. Because like the other day, I felt frustration, but I acknowledged that I felt the frustration. Once I noticed the frustration, it couldn't go into action. I could not react from it. And the moment I noticed it, it began to dissolve. Notice the word I use. It began to dissolve. That's why it's important that, and here's another thing too. When you feel all that bitter and anger, right? Even if you met somebody who was different, you would turn them into that person. You see what I'm saying? You would actually start doing things like snooping around and just not trusting them. You will create the person that you don't want. That's the funny thing about life, Jerry. You know the funny thing about life? You don't get what you want, you get what you believe, right?
Right.
Even though you want something else, but if you believe men are no good, then what you going to get? And also, too, you got to start taking each relationship individually. Stop putting them all together. This is a new experience. And also, don't look for the relationship. Let it come to you. Let it happen. Don't look for something. Let it happen. And because in our community, both men and women got bad information about the other side. That's one of the biggest problems I see. Both of us keep thinking it's the other side.
Yeah.
And everybody worked on themselves. See, we don't understand that we've been destroyed emotionally and mentally by slavery, where they never let us have a relationship. The men was used to breed. Now, some people say slavery ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't nowhere in the world you gonna not have nothing to do with this. When men wasn't allowed to be fathers, we were allowed to be breathers. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And our women was allowed to be whatever the man wanted them to be. So when they put us together, we don't know how to be with each other. All my life, I ain't never seen no good relationship, but I seen people together. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Growing up, I never seen a good relationship. But then I get married and have kids. I don't know how to be a father. I didn't have a father, but I decided just to be there for them and take care of them. And as I went along, I began to grow in being a father.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying, because what you're ultimately saying is you're talking about relationships, and the genesis of all relationships, especially that begin in Northern America, in this part of the world, let's say that. They were compromised. You're right. They were compromised from our history, but like, what do we do today? That's the second part of her question. It said, where in your book do I find out what I need to do and how to do it to stop attracting this negativity to myself? And the second, go ahead.
Sir, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me say this right quick. Something hit me when you said that. She needs to read the whole book. Don't jump to a section. See, she's looking for relief now. And when you look for relief, it ain't going to come that way. Right now, you need to look to change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
I want her to read your whole book. Don't just jump to a section. Read it from the beginning to the end, because all of your book's good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that was part of what I was going to say, and that was a very good suggestion. What we be and I was piggybacking what you were saying. What we need to do now is, so that we know that these negative relationships have been compromised, and so where do we start today? Well, the first thing is we begin to work on ourselves today by, see, a lot of times, I love how you just said this, we're trying to hit the home run, right? We want to knock it out the park. To use
we
it,
want to walk sometimes.
right? We need to get some walks. We need to get some. Now I hate to use a sports analogy. I don't know anybody understand baseball that we're talking to, but in baseball, we have something called a grand slam, a home run, but we also have base hits, and base hits is about progression. Now, let me show you what this would look like. We may be trying to hit the home run where we get this great relationship we want, but if we work on ourselves, and if we get better, you'll attract whatever's supposed to be in your life to keep on serving you and complimenting you. You'll attract it. But this is what we're doing. We keep saying we're looking for this home run instead of the base hits. Life is giving us experiences moment to moment to work on ourselves and get better. But you know what, Zer? Why we can't never get to those? Because we push those out of the way. I don't want this experience. I don't want this experience with the person at my job that said something I didn't like, or the person in Kroger's that cut me off, and or walked up to me and said, "Put your mask on the right way," or my 33-year-old son that didn't like what I said to him. See, those are the and we was talking about the Kirk Franklin. See, those that's where the meat is. That's where the fruit is. That's where the nutrients are for growth. But you can tell like how everybody is fussing and fighting, and I don't want this experience, and you can tell how people don't want it because of how they cussing and fighting and trying to get away from. Those are the experiences that's trying to help you grow moment to moment. Like I'll give you like an experience. I had my 8-year-old daughter this weekend, and on the weekend you want to relax and get you a break, and so you be fresh for the next week. But my daughter not trying to hear that. This is the weekend. She ready to have some fun, and she want to have it with dad, right? So these are the experiences because I had to keep on practicing awareness. Like I know I want to rest, but I know my daughter deserves to have some fun time, some play time. See, those are the experiences right there. Now, let me practice awareness, right? I said I was aware. I became, instead of being more, I'm the dad that needs a break, and how am I going to, spend this quality time with my daughter? Instead of becoming that, I became more of a student of it. Wow, matter of fact, I got happy. I said, I'm so glad this has came out because I'll know how to resolve this now. And man, the next thing I know, it was like life began to shape this thing where, man, me and my daughter had this incredible dialogue, and we just began talking. I mean, to the point where she came in my arms, she was like, "I love you so much, Daddy." And it was like, wow, it was almost like, because I decided not to become this,
That
this.
feeling.
Yeah, I was more of aware of it.
That
It was
feeling.
like life began to move in a way that showed me how to operate. And it was so fun, man. I can't wait till we, have another whole weekend to spend, dialoguing and me helping. I even help her understand some things about self-awareness. And trust me, this is the time. You know what? Let me tell you something. Boy, talking to a young person, a kid, you get so much because they so fresh right now. They haven't been, inundated with all
Program.
of this information about who they should be and what should be. And I'm just saying now, let me get back to my core point. I want you to jump in, Zerby. That was an experience that showed me if I would go aware, I would be get what I want. What I wanted was to find a way for me and my daughter both to be happy in this moment. I got that. Then I was shown by the universe because I decided to stay aware. I was shown how to do it. So I got a conscious contact with that intuition and that voice that's guiding me. So I got what I want and I got what I really wanted. Now going forth, any experience I come up against, all I have to do is be aware. And I know that I'm going to be shown. So that's how you end up becoming better and better moment to moment, because every little experience we have, that person that says something to you at your job is not about you trying to quit your job, or the person on the freeway that you didn't like how they drove. All those things aren't trying to get you to your 33-year-old son that says something you didn't like. And all of those things are trying to call on you to get guidance from something higher than what's normally given to you in those experiences, the reaction we normally have. Come on, Zerd.
Yeah, sir, we about running out of time too. You want to do it? I thought we're gonna need another show to finish this one here because you just can't do this in 30 minutes. Didn't you have a call or two who can give an example of what awareness is? Maybe
Yeah, we're gonna
from
call
that?
in. I had some people that wanted to call in and give some self-awareness examples. The number is 313-837-1340. 313-837-1340. And we're having people call in and tell us about their self-awareness experiences. We've been sharing for a few weeks now, and we're hoping that you're going to call in and begin to tell us about some of your self-awareness experiences and some things you've come across. And let me add one more thing, because let me talk about the last part of the letters, because that's going to go into what I was just talking about. That explanation I gave you, that was kind of heavy, and that was a lot of information, because what it basically boils down to is you deciding I'm going to be aware more than this reaction I'm having. But the person wants to know. They said, is it possible that it can be discussed on your podcast, or a group of ladies and gentlemen formed to talk to each other about experiences, failures, and progress? And it said, I would like to hear from other open-minded men or women who are dealing with similar problems. And I think we got a caller.
Go ahead.
But yeah, we are creating that now, a platform for people to
Right.
be able, because this is something we're gonna have. We see now we're gonna have to have a while, like a couple hours, to just sit down and discuss it
Break
and
it
talk
down.
about it.
Yeah.
But let's take this caller. What's going on, caller?
Okay.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey,
How you
Ricard, what's
doing?
going on? Okay.
That question. Who do you think it was? Some guy trying to hit on you?
No, who
No, I'm
did you
saying,
think it was at first? Your
who you
reaction.
got at first? But you notice, here's what what I want everybody to understand. The first reaction you have to your experience is not coming from you. That's important. Why? Because your mind and emotion is reacting to the experience first, and then you reacting to the reaction. You see what I'm getting at? And so, because you decided to hesitate, so you let that first reaction happen, you hesitated, then the truth showed up. You see what I'm getting at? See, how many? Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something? Yeah. So here's what we got to understand, and I think next show we need to break down some truth about being in the moment. One of them is that I should always slow my reaction down to the first reaction I have because it's not coming from me. That means that I'm not reacting to reality. I'm reacting to a reaction to reality. That was big when I discovered that. When I discovered that my mind and emotions are reacting to the experience first, and then I'm reacting to what they say is happening, I end up having to go apologize for reacting too quick. Saying something or going off or getting mad. I done quit jobs just because of how I felt and realized the person didn't mean that. But I done quit the job now. Now I got to go find another job. So slow your reaction down. And when you slow your reaction down, you build more space, right, to where an answer can show up. And that's why with the lady who wrote the letter, what you do is start practicing slowing your reaction down. Just slow your reaction. Also, too, practice feed yourself better information. You can't feed yourself the same information and expect to have a different life. Because if the information you feed yourself works, then why are you in the same place? See? So slow your reaction down. And I like the way you said you realized it was my mom, right, trying to blow at me. But it just shows how we live in our body, and this reaction is always happening all day. So go ahead, Rob. That was good. Thank you for sharing that, though.
Thank you, Ricard, for calling in. That was a beautiful self-awareness testimony. We appreciate you. And also, I want to add too, because the Zerber was giving some incredible information. We want to also add, when you say slow your reaction down, since it's a reaction and it's just happening without your permission, you slow it down by paying attention. Just look at it. Just pay attention.
Yeah, don't make a decision. Right.
Yeah, just watch yourself having the reaction, and it's automatically gonna slow down, because when somebody cuts you off in traffic, or somebody at your job says something insensitive, this reaction it just happens, and that's why it's a reaction. But how you slow it down, especially moving on it and doing something, pay more attention to it. And I promise you, something so great is going to happen, greater than anything. You're going to experience a freedom you've never, ever had before. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be allowed to see that it's not you. It's this independent part of you that acts on its own. Yeah. And what you're doing now is becoming detached from it as yourself. Because I guarantee you, and this is something that has got me. Let me tell you, this statement has worked wonders for me. What I understand is, in any moment, it's always multiple possibilities. Let's go back to how we've been talking about the Kirk Franklin situation. Even though what happened, it was a multitude of other possibilities that could have happened. Just like with me and my daughter over the weekend, what ended up happening was we had a situation, but we were able to have a 20-minute dialogue that was so beautiful and loving for both of us. So let's wrap it up, Zerb. Give them the email, and man, we appreciate all the listeners. We thank you for calling, Carr. That was just perfect. That was a young girl too. Come on, Zerb, give us the email.
Yeah, Self-aware 2021 at yahoo.com. Self-aware 2021 at yahoo.com.
All right, Detroit, we appreciate you listening. Get that email, get the book, continue to listen, and we have much more information for you in the upcoming weeks. We love you, Detroit. Thank you.
You have just been made aware. The Practicing Self-Awareness Show with host Robert Chacon and Jose Villegas. Contact Rob at 313-283-5651 or email at selfaware2021@yahoo.com. That's selfaware2021@yahoo.com. And tune in again every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. for the Practicing Self-Awareness